Red flags are everywhere. Happy spring, Colleen.
Oh, it's finally spring here. It's just lovely. I'm really enjoying it. I'm staring, wander through my yard, and I'm like, well, the rabbits are certainly doing it, because my entire yard is covered in little brown rabbit crap.
Oh, is it really?
And they're chasing around, and I'm watching them chase each other around, and the cats are just fascinated and glued to the window. And so, yeah, it is bunny sex time in my backyard. Okay. So it is definitely springtime.
Yeah, I'm a little pissed off at the rabbit community right now. We planted 3 trees last fall.
They chew the bark off of them?
Yep. They killed one, and one of them we don't know.
Yeah, I had one.
Pissed.
Yeah.
And, it's like, you know what, Bunny? If you want to, like, run around and, fertilize the lawn a little bit here and there, you eat my fucking plants, we're going to have speaks. Mm-hmm. Just saying. So, especially my $180 tree. Oh. I know, right?
Mine was a boulevard tree, so the city of Minneapolis replaced it.
That's nice. Mm-hmm. That is nice.
Yeah.
God, it's so sad. Speaking of that, all the trees that we've lost to the emerald ash borer and stuff.
There's several blocks in my neighborhood where they've just taken down every tree on one side of the street. So at least there's one thing I think they've learned, is that they're no longer going to wholesale replace a whole street with one type of tree.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a whole bunch of different, because a lot of maples they put in like 10, 20 years ago are beginning to die because they're root bound. They came in pots.
Oh.
And so the roots were wrapping around each other. I'm like, well, so that went, and then, it's like that. But when I see new plants, new trees going in, they're all mixed.
That's smart. That is really smart. I was super excited. I was able to actually hire a company that does a treatment to the tree to fend it off. And I paid $400, but I'm like, whatever it costs to save these trees. They're huge, Yeah, and that will work if you catch it, but it's, it's an ongoing thing. Yeah. Every 2 years, I think I have to do it. I don't care. It's worth it to me, man. I'm excited. I got to plant some more trees. This is one of these things where it's like, really, and here we are, it makes the news, Colleen, but a mother got just furious after her 7-year-old daughter bought a package of penis-shaped candy. What happened was there was 2 little girls out with their grandmother and their aunt, and they couldn't get the pram into the candy store because the rows were narrow. So they let the little 7-year-old go in and pick what she wanted. They weren't with her because they were watching the baby, because there was 2 kids, right? Mm-hmm. They went in and the kid picked that and came out and she's eating them. The grandma and the aunt didn't even really notice. They get home and the mother has a fit, goes to the candy store, throws a fit. And the lady was like, I'm sorry, whatever. And finally she threw such a fit that the owner said, look, it was a really busy day. They sent the child in unattended, and those are over in our adult humor section. But it's like, you know what, lady, the kid had no idea. Yeah, so what damage has been done here again?
No, the pearl clutching sometimes is just, it's just fascinating.
Yeah.
And besides, I'm pretty sure I know which candies they're probably talking about because I've seen all of them. And they barely look like a cartoon penis, much less. Sometimes the little banana-shaped candies come out looking more like penises than penises.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think people sometimes just look for things to be offended by.
They do. Mm-hmm. They do.
It's just going through there.
And, I didn't like the apology. She was frosty, blah, blah, blah. It's like probably because she thinks you're a fucking idiot.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It is just, sometimes
just
hard.
Guessing.
Occasionally it takes me sometimes, I get a response to something. It takes me, I can't respond right away because sometimes it's just so, the argument, I can't figure out the argument.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't understand. And then I have to step back and go, are they coming at it from this point or that point? And I don't know what to do. And it takes me a little bit to figure out exactly what someone is actually upset about.
Yeah.
I mean, how about, you let your mother and your sister, send your 7-year-old into a store unattended. Now, if there were 2 of them, why didn't one of them go in there with her? If I was going to be, upset about something, it might be that.
Yeah. Yeah. No, absolutely. For sure. Absolutely. For sure. Mm-hmm. Do you have, what's your take on tickling? Where do you stand on tickling?
I happen to be fairly ticklish. I don't particularly think it's a fun thing. either to get tickled or to tickle. I don't see the point of that. So I think people I think they use it sometimes not in a fun manner. They don't understand, Yeah. If someone says, I love it, fine. But it just, it would be, it's not my favorite thing. Mm-hmm.
I'm ticklish. Okay. Mm-hmm. And if I go to get a pedicure, I mean, they just know me. I go to the same place and I'm laughing and it makes them laugh, cause, and I try and I'm like, I apologize, whatever. Mm-hmm. And they're used to it. Everybody has a good time with it, but check this. Tickling men's feet can help them last longer in bed.
Well, distraction? Is that another thing instead of thinking about baseball or something?
It was, I can't, this is going to be a tough one. The study was conducted by Yüksek İhtisas Hospital in Turkey. And they used a tickling current, and it was mild. It didn't hurt or anything else, but it was, able to help them push past the average of 5.5 minutes that a guy would last. So I don't know what it is with doing things with electricity and sound waves and currents to penises, but I'm thinking that the penises are all going to start standing up here in revolting voltage, get it, pretty soon. There's been a lot of stuff about this lately.
Who would have thought, in other words, distraction makes you last longer. Duh.
Yeah, but can't that also make you lose your heart on?
Well, it depends on what, it depends on the distraction for that person. I think.
Because if you get me underneath on the arch of my foot, I mean, I'm on the ceiling. So I don't know if that would be a good thing for
that would be too distracting.
Yeah. Just saying. This was, okay, so we talked about the allegedly so-called promised quiet dildos, German engineered, coming out pretty soon. Mm-hmm. This one just verklempt me completely. Okay. The world's first self-erecting bionic penis. Let that sink in for just a minute. Okay. So it's a 6-inch model known as the Uprise, UPRIZE. Mm-hmm. And there's an 8-inch version of this. And it's Love Honey. So we know who they are, right? They're around.
It's a UK company, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So it's got a motor and 10 different settings from intense to nuts, but it uses this auto erect technology that was inspired by Chinese snake toys that can stand to attention or flap like a flaccid penis. So when it's switched off, the dildo curls up so you can pack it away. It makes me think of those hoses that are as seen on TV, but wait, there's more. You can get another one that get all small. Mm-hmm. And why is this important in a dildo again?
I don't know. Or those things that are outside businesses, the little wavy things. The air is on and they're up and the air is off, just going through there. I mean, I suppose it could be if they figured out how to make it a wearable device or something. But I mean, then again, they're now working on penis transplants. I was reading a story about that.
Oh, no kidding. What'd they say?
And they've just done a full penis and scrotum and abdominal muscles and groin muscles transplant on a gentleman who was a soldier and had a lot of and had damage to his penis. And the one and what I find fascinating about that is that there's a lot of men that are injured this way in war, and so they can get that back, and it's no different than trying to find a prosthetic or something like that, or they've been doing hand transplants. They can do all these things because they're getting better at that microsurgery. Yeah. But what I saw in the article that I thought was fascinating was the fact that you can be a donor for, let's say, your heart, lungs, cornea, stuff like that. But when it comes to other body parts, let's say you've read about hand transplants or face transplants, or the penis, that's like a separate set of permissions. So I'm wondering if next time someone does their living will, when they say, like, take all my parts, I mean it. Take all my parts. Yeah. I'm not going to use them anymore. But the one thing I did notice about this article that was fascinating is they did not transfer over the testicles, because they went, that might be too much, because the sperm that was there, or they thought that might be, that they weren't sure how to work with that.
Well,
so it's going.
I'm glad that they're trying,
and so they're and they're hoping that this will be a functional penis, and they did a to try and lessen rejection. They did a bone marrow transplant, a couple other things, and stuff like that. But I'm saying if that worked, that would be spectacular, because I know they've worked on. They're thinking about they've tried uterus transplants and all these different. I mean, seriously, take the parts. Yeah. I mean, I know that some people doesn't, but for me, I'm like, if it's a functional piece, someone else can have it.
Right. Oh,
and so I think that's amazing. So I was really fascinated to read about that.
Well, and I'm not a member of the, penis is God cult by any means, but I've always found it horrifically sad that, people, particularly in battle, do get injured there, and that there hasn't been much help. And for some guys, or depending, they consider, they're like, my life is over. Like, I'll never, and that's awful. So if they can fix that, I'm like so excited.
Yeah. Same thing. I mean, and it's for the most part, the majority of people would, you lose a hand, you would like to have a functional hand. Same thing. You lose a penis, you would like to have a functional penis. I don't, is going through there. And it's just nice to know that, think about, where surgery is going to be in 10 years. If that's going to make someone feel whole again, spectacular.
Yeah.
And, but then maybe the pneumatic penis there, for folks that don't have that, would make them feel more whole again.
Yeah. I mean, and anything that can help someone that has been deprived of their functionality or something is all good with me. And God, it's fascinating stuff. And on another note, 6 things that should never, in capital letters, go near your vagina. And it talks about, funny, in the first line, Gwyneth Paltrow trying to detox hers with herbs. I would venture I'm going to add Gwyneth Paltrow as something that I don't want near my vagina either. But that said,
So this is not, so we've already said no glitter near there.
Oh, for sure.
Okay, so we know that. So no glitter. You shouldn't be steaming it. A whole bunch of other things. But this is a whole new 6 things that should be, okay.
Yeah. Well, there's 6 common sense things. And the doctor cited in the article is Kansas-based gyno Leslie Page. Okay. And this was an article in Women's Health. And I think it's a good, you and I, we are part, silliness and part public service announcement around here, I think. And if you haven't heard us before, this is a good compilation, because over the last year we've had all that crazy stuff with the glitter bombs and all this. It's like bad. That's just a bad idea. So here we go. Gel sanitizers, number 1.
Oh, sorry. There was no. I'm having cervix clenching. Ow.
Yeah. 20 times makes you 20 times more likely to get a bacterial infection.
Yeah, there's good stuff down there. It's a self-cleaning thing.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Feminine washes, 3 times likely to pick up a bacterial or a UTI. Wipes, twice as likely to pick up a UTI. Moisturizers, 2.5 times more likely to have a yeast infection. Douches.
No, when they talk about moisturizers, are they talking about the folks that are using a vaginal moisturizer because for intercourse, or just
doesn't say?
Okay, because those I know have been, if you've gone through menopause or any sort of radiation or any sort of chemo, you can dry those tissues up, and there are little beads of moisture that you can use. It's sort of like a lubricant that you can put in there beforehand, and or just for comfort.
Yeah,
you can be dried out and stuff like that. I'm guessing that's not what they're talking about.
No, they're not.
They're probably talking about, I've got some Jergens here, and I'm going to lube some areas.
Well, it's just like all the washes that they're promoting on TV, like that one where the guy is in the shower using her vaginal wash, and you remember that commercial? It was hysterically funny, actually. She's like, "You do realize you're using my whatever," and it was whatever. Well, so the rest of the commercial is the guy like doing as manly things as he can possibly do, like chopping wood, and it's pretty funny. I mean, actually, but it's the frou-frou stuff in the store they're saying no. Don't use it. And this freaks me out. Douching, they said, actually dramatically increases risk of contracting HPV.
Because you've
because the water squirting up there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the one thing about the wipes too, it just added to the things. If you like, some people with issues will use a lot of wipes if they want to feel more clean. We don't have bidets, stuff like that, but they need to go in the garbage. Do not put these things down the toilet. Plumbing is not made for wipes.
Oh, yeah.
Well, one, I know that here because I've had issues at my office here. But, I mean, there was a massive multi-ton wipe and fat and stuff, berg in the London sewers. It happens here all the time. It clogs up the drains. Do not... The only thing that should go down a toilet is toilet paper and the waste. Sorry, I had a massive plumbing bill here.
Colleen is so dead serious right now.
It drives me insane, mainly because I have buildings that I have to take care of.
Yep.
And it is, and if you want, if you want your water bills to go down, do not put these things in there. Wipes should never go down. I don't care if they say flushable; they are not flushable. Sorry. Okay. Sorry.
No, I'm just
a little tangent.
No, I mean, it never occurred to me, but I suppose that could be a problem. So I got it. I don't get grossed out too often, but this really grosses me out.
Okay. Oh, thank you.
You're
okay.
welcome.
Here, this tastes bad. Taste it. Is this what we're okay?
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. Does this smell bad to you? Stuff it under someone's nose. Oh, my freaky got everything.
Misery loves company, man. I'm telling you, it's a human thing. We are all just schadenfreude, maniacs on this planet. You've remember? Well, I mean, they've been around since 1998. The Naked News Channel, right? Mm-hmm. Whatever. I always thought it was the silliest thing I ever heard, but whatever. If people like it, and so the anchors are talking about the rudest things they've ever done. And if standing up there and reading about world events in the buff, you don't think that's rude, let's talk about the butt luge. So they had a crew down at Hedonism in Jamaica, and two of the reporters were participating in this game. So one person lays on the ground, the other stands up, slightly bent over, with her butt over the other person's face. Are you getting the picture here? Mm-hmm. The object... Okay, so then somebody pours beer down the standing person's back, which then goes through the butt crack and into the lying person's mouth. The object of the game is to drink as much as possible, but it looks like the anchor is peeing, which, of course, is bizarre and disgusting. You think?
Honestly, they're just...
Like, that's gross.
Oh, I mean, because people have done... so I take it shots out of the belly button are no longer a thing.
I've heard of craft beer, but not crack beer. Like, ew.
I don't know.
I mean, so ew.
Oh.
That's upsetting.
Oh, that is a little gross.
And they don't have really men, both clothed and naked, and they said it just never has gone down well with the audience. And we just don't get the same reaction as women. That's why they really don't do the men thing. Colleen's just shaking her head. The butt luge. I don't think so. No, I'll pass. No. So, these two people left their day jobs. They're Italians, Kim and Paolo, 23 and 28 years old each. They quit their 9-to-5 jobs and they wanted to travel the world and fund their travels by making porn. And by golly, they've done it. Good for them. Mm-hmm. They're known as M Sweet Apple. And so they are traveling around making porn and paying for their what?
Sometimes I wonder how people do this. I mean, there's a lot of people with bedroom cams and all this sort of stuff, and people. But what is it about, like,
traveling porn?
No, traveling. I mean, that someone. I mean, where's the tipping point for when something? I mean, because sex on the internet is just everywhere. Mm-hmm. So what's the tipping point where someone can actually make money at it? Mm-hmm. It's like. I mean, there's a lot of actors, but very few people actually make their living at it. Mm-hmm. A lot of writers, very few people actually make their living at it. A lot of people having sex on the internet, very few people making a living at it.
And God bless them for it.
it just, I've always wanted, what is the tipping point for stuff like
that? That's a really good question. Break? I mean, I think just like anything, I think it's branding, it's promotion, it's, they get a little following, and then that goes, viral, which viral attached to anything sexually related is bad.
Should be bad. Yeah. That should be bad. Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, so they're running around. Well, then they got contacted by another gal who had the hots for both of them. She's a Cuban. And so now they're a trio. And there's a little story chronicling this. And
there you go. There's how you get world peace.
Oh, yeah.
There.
I like it.
I like it a lot. There you go.
Or a world peace of ass. I don't know. Something
that
like
works
that.
Too.
Yeah. Okay. This is funny. I think it's funny. I mean, the reactions are all over the board. And again, this is one of those things where I suppose you could choose to be offended or find it hilarious. So this guy is waiting for a movie to come out for months and months and months. And so he was super excited. This one particular guy wanted to go see Infinity War, a movie, which I wouldn't bother to go see. But anyway, it's his big hairy deal. And so he says, I'll take you, girlfriend. And this is not a new date. This is somebody he's been with under 6 conditions. Here we go. 1, I'll buy you any snacks you want before the film, but you can't ask for any when it's started. Not unreasonable. He doesn't want to get up out of his seat. 2, no talking. 3, no hand holding or kissing. 4,
no hand holding. How would a hand holding interfere with the movie? Okay.
Unclear. If a main character dies, we cry together. If you cancel the date, I'll need 24 hours notice. And then finally he says, if a crazy white guy wants to come in there trying to ruin the movie by shooting at people, I need you to take him down quickly and keep him under control. Wait until after the movie to call police. I don't need commotion interrupting the movie. Now that's funny. The whole thing is just funny.
Oh, so yeah. I mean, honestly, other than, getting the whole chatting and asking questions things. If you
my mother, oh my God, my mother would prefer that you tell her a movie than ever watch one. Drove my brother and me up the proverbial wall.
Yeah, I haven't seen a movie with my daughter in quite a while because different things and stuff like that, and I'm just glad because she'd be like, "What's going on?" I mean, but at least these were kid movies, and there are a lot of kids and stuff like that. And I think she's probably better now. But there've been plenty of movies where I walked out of, and I don't really go see. That I've just turned to the person I was with, going, "What the fuck did we just watch?" But at least I waited until the credits were rolling.
Yeah, that's fair.
I do not understand the chatting and the texting and unless you're going to a place that has a restaurant, the entire meal coming in,
Oh, I know. Look, movie etiquette, I think that should be strictly adhered to.
But I do love those places with the big chairs, though.
Oh God, they're great. Oh. And the booze. Finally, they figured that out.
Booze, yes.
God.
They're already sneaking it in. We might as well make a couple of bucks off of it.
Well, not only that, but it's like, they finally got away from the fact. I just stopped going to the theater until they came out with a new theater.
And I love being able to pick your seats beforehand.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I know I want to sit all the way in the back or someplace on the edge or stuff like that. Because I know I may have to go to the bathroom. Yeah. I know, I can choose that I can get a seat where if someone 6 foot tall or more gets in front of me or with big hair, it's not in my way. Because I just know I know where to sit.
Yeah.
I am short. This is why, I know these things.
It just wasn't a good customer experience before. And now they've finally said, instead of herding you in because we've got the movie and we're a big deal, it's now about the customer being happy, which is what I think was sorely missing. So, the old drunken belligerent thing on a flight over the years has become a bigger and bigger no-no. At first we had just, the terrorism thing and, making threats or, whatever. This one, and he probably, check it out, dude. So a guy was flying from Latvia to Britain, basically. He groped a passenger. okay, he drank heavily the night before, then he just kept drinking on the flight. And he shoved a flight attendant. He pinched one's butt. He grabbed a passenger's boob. And he finally had to go to court, and he did admit to a form of sexual assault. He was jailed for 8 months, 2 years not allowed to fly, and he's also had to register as a sex offender.
The third one, might be a bit much, but it also depends on what other evidence was there. But I'm pretty sure that if a drunken person on a flight grabbed my boobs, that they would have, or boob doesn't have to. What can be a single?
Wouldn't even
boob?
have to be one of them. Yeah, both. Yeah.
That they would probably be on the aisle with my foot on their throat, because that would be the end of that. Yeah. And if they got anywhere near my kid, that would be it. And I'm pretty sure I would have help from other folks.
Oh, I'm sure you would have
on the plane.
That would be. This is going to sound sexist, but every father within,
or it's just every woman. I'm tired of this shit, because I just going through there, because I just recently on a couple different trips, my kid doesn't really know, she's fairly oblivious to some things, like a teen, like someone should be. Mm-hmm. But I noticed, and it's so, because I'll get up when she's, anyone can take a look. That's fine. But you don't stare and you don't keep looking. Mm-hmm. So I just get up and I go stand in between my kid and the person's being good. And then the next time they turn around, they see mom just staring at them. Yeah. It stops that right there.
That's awesome. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Good for you.
I have a little fun with that.
Yeah.
It's like, no. This is inappropriate behavior.
Mm-hmm. I don't blame you. Mm-hmm. I would do the same thing. Mm-hmm. Think this is kind of funny. So not too many blacksmiths around. I
know a few.
Well, I know you do, because you were Miss Renaissance Festival for like.
I have people who they just like art.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Well, this one blacksmith by trade sent his career soaring when he expanded into metal bondage sex aids. Because horseshoes and wrought iron ornaments and things like that. Not as big of a call for, but man, the BDSM shit, he's making a fortune.
I'm sure he is.
I'm super excited. Mm-hmm. So I thought that was kind of funny. I think anything. Well, we talked about artisan dildos with Ducky. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That one day. Well,
there was a company. I had a few in the store, but I didn't sell. But there was blanking on the name, but it was a Norwegian company that made some of the most beautiful granite dildos. But
granite, wow!
But they were done, and I'm just like, these are beautiful works of art. But I just couldn't get anyone to, there were only so many places. Folks weren't. It just wasn't enough to keep them in stock. I couldn't, couldn't sell them.
Yeah.
They were so pretty.
I bet.
They were just beautiful.
Yeah.
The thing is that just don't, so you can warm it up, you can cool it down. It's the same thing as, a glass piece or anything like that. So it was really good for temperature play, but I think people just didn't get into it.
No. Mm-mm. But very cool looking. Mm-hmm. There's just no shortage of tourists being inappropriate and
let's see.
Various world destinations having their fill. So this is Spain, Marbella. Okay. So stag and hen parties. I guess it's a very popular destination for that. Those are the UK's version of, Bachelor.
I've been there.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful place.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So the city council is, I don't know why. I mean, I've been on a condo board, so I know what these stupid meetings are like. And I'm just trying to picture it on a city council level where you actually have to just deal with people walking around carrying inflatable blow-up dolls and giant dildos and behaving, I'd just like to see the transcript from this.
It is I was there in my 20s. I remember being and it was in the fall too. So school's in session. So I imagine during the summer and other times that it's just insane.
€600 fines are going to be the average. $923 US dollar fines for
being an ass.
Mm-hmm. Pretty much. Quick note. I'm just going to throw the article on the Facebook page, or actually Megan will for us, that there's kind of an interesting study about, do men prefer blondes? And it's this whole hair color attractive thing. And at the end of the day, women prefer the dark, men prefer the light. It's weird.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. The packaging certainly prefers the blondes, because I try and locate a bunch of different images when I'm putting up an ad, or I'm doing something, or we're creating signage, or doing anything. And it's blonde after blonde after blonde. And I'm like, that's nice. These are attractive women, but a brunette would be nice. A person of color would be nice. A guy, I'm just like, it's another, they all start to look alike, because they've all been airbrushed into oblivion anyway.
Yeah.
It's going through there. I'm creating some signage for some stores, and Liz right now is actually repackaging some things that were plus size, because we finally got a spectacular plus size model versus just the regular size model with the word plus size on a sticker on the box, because you can't visualize it. You're just going through there. And so she's repackaging some of these items so that you can see what's going on. It's an amazing model. And I was, and she's plus size, and she's sort of brunette. And I was just fascinated over these two things.
Well, because what the response, that's, that's for sure. We talk about sugar babies around here. We had the sugar baby whisperer a couple weeks ago, the guy that went and set him down and said, if you go forward with this, here's what I will do to your life. This is a sugar baby summit, where girls learn how to meet sugar daddies and have kinky sex. So, there's.
So where is this being held?
This is New York's Central Park.
Yeah.
So there's a couple websites. One of them is called seekingarrangement.com. So this one is $99. It's how to meet and keep sugar daddies, staying safe, and how to have sex. And there's 200 delegates, mostly, college student looking type people. And, but they basically, teach them all the tricks of the trade, so to speak. Some of the daddies pay for them to go. Yeah.
I'm always fascinated by that. I'm just like, it's just, why? It's work, to some extent, they're saying sugar babes, stuff like this, but sex work is work. It's going there and taking it serious, taking it seriously. It, is important. There's certain things that they're doing. So why not have a seminar on how to do it better?
Yeah.
It's going through there.
It is a job. Well, and you had a story about I ran her. Tara sent me an article today, and it's Jessica Drake, which is someone who I've met, and it's just a really lovely woman. It's a spokesperson for a lubricant company and all that. Wicked, right?
Wicked, yeah. And she was on MSNBC last night with Ari Melber, and was interviewed because she is corroborating. That's a hard word for me to say. Stormy Daniels' accounts of in the. Going through there, and we can link the article and all that sort of stuff. That's fine, because that's not the part that I really am interested in. I was getting through there is that it's, sex work is sex work, but just because you're a sex worker doesn't mean you're always you're allowed to say no. I mean, there's a great last line on the article here. It says, simply about my profession, people are under the mistaken impression that we're always available for hire.
That's, yeah.
You're not, I get some of that, people get look at me like I sell sex toys, so therefore I should always be having sex or something like that. Or you're allowed, it's their job. You have, a surgeon in the middle of shopping at Southdale isn't doing surgery there. It's their job. They're not always for hire. Yep. There's working hours and non-working hours.
No, that's a really interesting point.
And it also, there's new laws that are I think they're being close to being set. Like, And it's a profession that it has inherent danger, just like anything else. And some of the places have made it less safe because certain things about Craigslist and Backpage ads and stuff like that are just horrific. Mm-hmm. But it's also a place where if you have to put in a credit card number, someone can vet you and you know what you're doing. So it's pushing some of this stuff back into where people don't know who they're meeting. Mm-hmm. So a lot of good intentions about laws affect folks that need spaces because web companies don't know whether or not this is a legitimate ad or an ad or for someone that's underage and stuff like that. And so they dismiss the fact that when they're trying to do all this do-gooder stuff to save kids and press and people that are being exploited, that's good. But how is it going to affect people who are legitimate sex workers or folks that are or have communities where they talk about things? And, because it's a legitimate profession, sex work, and they're not always on, and they need, they deserve to be as safe as rules that people have for construction or rules that people have for warehouse work or rules that people have for mining.
I just would love to see the OSHA statutes on that, but no, I mean, I agree. Yeah. I'm being glib, but I totally agree. And I wanted to not forget to mention that.
Like I said, we'll put the whole area, like I said, there's a lot of different stuff about what's going on and supporting Miss Daniels. But like I said, the last line is what I thought was, to me, is what stuck out the most.
Yeah.
And it's going through there.
It's a super good point. And Florida has still continues. Oh, do you have something else?
Well, this was just, we were talking about the, I'll have to circle back around to something I talked about, is that, just about people talking about sex or not talking about sex, that STD rates are increasing in Minnesota again. And it has a lot to do with the fact that people, they're not talking about it. It's going through there. I mean, they're out there and stuff like that, but folks don't think. And I don't think that people take, the education's out there, but who is it aimed towards? And it's frustrating. So this was another article that I had found in the recent Star Tribune, was it yesterday or today? And, there's outreach out there, but the groups that it's not reaching is folks of color, gay men, stuff like that, because I think a lot of the outreach might be headed towards, white heterosexual couples. Mm-hmm. And so it just, is your message getting out there? Is it getting to the right people and stuff like that? And so if you're looking at this article, if you're thinking about it, getting tested is important, doing some things. And especially if you're in the sex work industry, is that the rates are up. Ugh. And to take a look at it.
That's disappointing. Mm-hmm. That is really disappointing. Florida has failed to throw down for yet another week. I don't know what's going on down there. They have not gotten naked and stupid and made us laugh in far too long. So I'm just saying that I expect more from Florida, but I'll take this from Louisiana instead.
Close.
And it wasn't even during Mardi Gras. Mm-hmm. Woman comes home to discover naked man in her bathtub eating her Cheetos.
See, I saw this and I'm thinking, Cheetos are sort of messy. Mm-hmm. But I'm not sure that you needed. I mean, cheat your hands. I mean, how was he eating Cheetos that the whole body needed?
He made himself a plate of food, grabbed a bag of Cheetos, drew himself a bath, and proceeded to get comfy. And then he got caught.
But how the Cheetos get but then your hands are damp and then you're going to get more. See, I saw this.
That would be hard to do. I see what you're saying. You're not saying he didn't get in the tub to wash his hands. You're saying that your hands are wet once you're in there. And how do you continue to not sagify your Cheetos?
Yeah, I don't.
You always think of the weirdest angles.
It's just, I've thought about, what I need now is just, I'm hungry and I really need a hot bath, but I can't really figure out how to combine these things.
And I'm just thinking there's some things that need to be done exclusively. If you're taking a bath, take a fucking bath. Okay? Just take a bath. Yeah. Either eat first or eat after.
But no. And then it's just another place, I don't want food in my bathroom.
And I don't want bath water in my food.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Do we agree?
Yeah,
are we good?
We're good.
Okay, next week then.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay.